Dr. Wu's family members join today. Okay, thanks for your coming. So today is our pleasure to have Dr. Wu and Wu Liuyuan 博士院士 to deliver a lecture for us today. I think all of you know Dr. Wu very well, but I still want to have a very brief introduction, Dr. Wu, to you. Okay? Dr. Savio Wu is a distinguished university professor emeritus of engineering at the University of Pittsburgh. He also founded and served as a director of the world-renowned Musculoskeletal Research Center. I think we all know this very well. And Dr. Wu is a pioneer in bioengineering. He is renowned for his more than 50 years of translational research on the healing and repair of tissues. Dr. Wu has been elected to National Academy of Medicine, the National Academy of Engineering, and Academia Sinica, and only one of the 5 people in the world who have granted all 3 of those honors. That's great. In 1998, Dr. Wu received Olympic Prize for Sports Medicine from the International Olympic Committee, and the first Olympic gold medal at the 1998 Olympic in Japan. It was a very big honor. And Dr. Wu has served as chair as well as president for many national and international societies, as well as being awarded many of their highest honors. I don't want to read one by one, more than 100, I think. Okay. And Dr. Wu is the founding president of World Association for Chinese Biomedical Engineers. We call that WACB. So I want to mention that because next August, our BME will organize the next World Congress in Polytechnic. Dr. Wu has a strong link with Polytechnic. He was Polytechnic alumnus because he was our student in 1960, and before he went to States. And Polytechnic also granted Dr. Wu an honorary degree of Doctor for Engineering in 2008. Dr. Wu has been our BME advisor, honorary professor, DAC, many positions, okay? And our very good friend for many years, since 1990s. And they gave our BME a lot of help. And without delay, I invite Dr. Wu to give a lecture.
Thank you, Ming. I have met many of you, and I'm glad to be back. At least I feel I'm welcome every time, so that's a good thing. So today, my lecture is sort of a story of my own self. So I want you to just enjoy for the next hour. There's nothing serious you really need to remember, except hopefully a little bit of the philosophy that I'll be sharing. Okay. And aside taking pictures of me, I want you to not use your cell phone, just enjoy it, like watching a show. Okay. When you go to theater, they don't let you take pictures or record. Just enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, then you can leave. That doesn't bother me either. So it's something I would like to do at my age. Okay. So let me see how it goes. So I want to first to thank all of you, especially BME. All of you have put more effort into World Association of Chinese Biomedical Engineers than anybody else. And as early as 2002, we came here to talk about how about forming this organization. And you can see that Arthur Mack is here, Ming is here. So they were here right in the beginning. And I'm so happy that they will do next year's 11th meeting. And we came back, we hosted the meeting in 2009. Many of you, most of you, not here, but it was a wonderful meeting. We even have the NIBNB director came to join us here. It was really something. 2017 was a big time, and we came back. It was really one of the most enjoyable rugby, and I'm really looking forward to next year when we do the 11th. So thank you very much. So I choose this topic today because some friends, hopefully they are friends, they said that I should be talking about my life. I said, no, in Chinese, you don't talk about yourself. You let other people talk about you if you're worthy. But they said, no, you really should try to do it. And I actually experimented a little bit. So you are my grand experiment, whether that is something that I should be doing, or I should just throw away these slides after. So you're welcome to critique, ask questions, and whatever you want to do about it. So I call it long and rewarding career academic. The goal is very simple. Many of you are starting your career or in your mid-career in academics. Maybe you can take a few points, use it for yourself. Maybe it doesn't contribute to your career, but if it is, take it and use it. So I'm going to tell you the story. So but my story always, whatever I do, I always have 3 words that I ask myself in that particular order. Why do you want to do something? What do you want to do and how to do it? And unfortunately today, because everything's so fast, people only worry about how to do something without even checking why do you want to do this, what you should be doing. You say, oh, how to do it. I learned this, I'm just going to do it. And it turns out most of the time you don't get much reward for it because it just happens. How is the easiest thing to do in 3 words? And if you think about it, right now you go on the internet, you can find anything on how. You can say how to fix the toilet, how to do this, how to do that, but they don't tell you why you want to do it, what you should be doing. So I want you to remember these 3 words. That's how these particular problems are structured. Now, I ask myself, why? Well, I have an urge to do it now. I'm 82 years old, and I don't expect to continue to do this for too many years. So I said, well, maybe Hollywood is a good place to start doing it. And coincidentally, Roger Rosenblatt is a very, very good writer for New York Times. And he's 83, he's a year older than me. So he's just recently wrote article. I can't think of anyone who has come to me for wisdom, serenity, authority, or power. So that means by next year, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. But I hope I'm better than Roger. But I will last a little bit longer than 80. Then when that happens, I would just totally retire and just go drink champagne. So that is why I'm doing it. And what to do? I said, well, I always want to say, sometime I will call it a career, calling it career over 50 years in academia, and I would like to share. This is what I would like to do. But to talk about yourself requires a lot of confidence. And I've always defined confidence as a very difficult thing to gain. I thought I ski very well, and I love to ski. Not anymore, but when the slopes are nice and flat, all groomed, I can do beautiful. But as soon as I hit a bump, I'm over. Then all my confidence is gone. Therefore, I really don't have confidence. I thought I did, but I didn't. So confidence is something that takes a long time to develop, and it starts with modesty and humility. Okay? So I've been saying this for quite a few years now. I hope you all read Chinese. That's exactly the true confidence is with many years of living in modesty and humility, and you can cultivate the true confidence. So now I feel like I can do these lectures because I now have confidence. I only have given 974 lectures in the past, so maybe I can do it. So how to do something, even though how is easier than three, is still difficult. Okay? It's a long, long game. So I will tell you how I build my academic knowledge. In 1970s, I was in the developmental stage of my academic career. How I started. It's conveniently divided into decades, but it's true. 1970 I started. And many of you sitting here on the internet, I will find that you're probably at that stage. And then in the 80s, I have grown. I developed, I have the fundamentals, I can grow. And then maturation came in the decade of the 90s. And then by 2000, the turn of the century, I can advocate things. I have enough capital to advocate something. And then finally, you sit on your armchair and you prognosticate, which is what I'm doing now. So today I will share some little stories with you. I will tell you some Asian Chinese philosophy, and then I will also, in each decade, give you only one example at a time of the translational research that my team has. So bear with me. In 1970, I was appointed as assistant professor at the University of California, San Diego. What a glorious university. Even as early as 1970, they have such a building with tremendous architecture. Today, it's still wonderful. And I had to learn a new field of study because I don't know anything about orthopedics. Bones and joints. I was studying eye biomechanics as a PhD student. So you step into a new job. So today everybody said, oh, this is what I do. So I'm going to look at jobs to do exactly what I do. No, you don't need to do that. You have learned the process to do something. You can do whatever you want. Just come because you know how to do something very well. So I actually had no choice but to study a lot very fast and to identify some clinical problems that are worthwhile doing, especially since I am a faculty at the Department of Orthopedics. So I'm an engineer, oddly situated in the School of Medicine. Very few at that time, almost none. So you have to find anybody who studies your problem. But the good thing is that I can collaborate with people that are not like me. I collaborate with chemists, I collaborate with clinicians and surgeons, and I find new methods. I find some friends in engineering, then I design new apparatus and experiment things with my students and technical support. So fortunately, the timing is excellent. In 1970s, that's where there's a biomechanics revolution. Everybody started recognizing how important is biomechanics. I haven't changed. I hope you will too. Everybody in orthopedics wants to know soft tissue, bone, cartilage, joint mechanics, and spine and impact mechanics. For engineers, we want to tell people how to functionally assess something, develop mathematical models and computational methods, and also to design it. So we have a place in orthopedics. Biomechanics definitely have a place. And thanks to the 1970s, the revolution started. So I call it TENS. And then I was so lucky to be at UCSD because there's Professor Lyson Fong. Now those of you in biomechanics must know my Lyson Fong. If you don't know my Lyson Fong, you don't know biomechanics. And fortunately, Dr. Fong and I, he likes me. So I was a lucky guy. I hang around him all the time. And he taught me things like summary. To solve biomechanics using my can-solve problems at each step. You cannot like any step, and you should go read about it. And she taught me to be a quick collaborator. Collaborator doesn't mean you count what your contribution is. Xu Chen, another person, is that he always says collaboration is not 50-50. You 60, I 40. Then you have collaboration. So most of young people that they want to do me 60, you 40, and then you won't get a very good collaboration. Think about it. You 60, I 40. And I think you. And Dr. Fong always asked me, to serve the profession. You owe the profession a debt of gratitude. You are what you are because the profession is helping you. So you must serve. And then finally, Dr. Fong is the most humble person and also the most kind person. And that is also important. So I developed a relatively open mind, partly because I don't know anything about orthopedics. I have to have open mind. So I work with people who know more than I do, identify problems such as plating a long-term fracture, healing continuity, and even bioscaffold already. This is another setting. And of course, I take a liking to solve this. Now, those days when you start as faculty, you have a very humble beginning. You have nothing. Surgeons could care less about you. They think I have a technician in my life, very high-paid technician. And there's no startup package. Right? All young faculty say, what if I start? $2 million, $5 million, whatever. I have nothing. You just have a paycheck for your job. No equipment, no lab space. You have to do everything yourself. But I like it because I'm always a person think about high risk, high reward. So somebody nobody wants, and if you can do it, your reward is big. Okay? And I will come back to this point. So I worked with my collaborators. We wrote 6 grants in the first year I was there. 6 grants. NIH, NSF, VA. Anybody who has money, we're going to ask you for that. Did that, and we were lucky. All 6 grants were funded. there's a lot of love involved, right? But also, it's not easy because I learned from my brother what to do and what I can. And at that time, also to prove that this intensely TV, and there are 7 of us. Jack Lewis, Ed Chow, Len Mao, myself, Toby Hayes, Ellen Brzezinski, and Al Lipkowski. We were the real starters of biomechanics in orthopedics. And we were together. It's a memorable picture that I treasure very much. And with this harmony, so we really have harmony. So you kind of have to believe in the Chinese philosophy. When you have harmony, it's destined to be successful. So there's a little bit of luck, but I can tell you, this luck was made by us. I personally do not believe in luck, because everything is statistics. But when everything harmonizes, you get ready for luck, so you got to make it. You have to make it yourself. I took a passion in sports medicine, because when I was young, I loved to play soccer, basketball, whatever ball I like to play. I can tell you a story. That I went to the United States. I already understand baseball. How many of you know baseball? Baseball is a lovely game. It's really a great game. And I learned baseball when I was in high school. Nobody played baseball in college. Nobody. But turned out in Kings Park, right by here, they play baseball. Because the foreigners are here to play baseball. I would go there Sunday and watch them play. As long as the ball, I like it. So I like sports. So, sports medicine is great because when we do exercise, play ball, whatever, it's all the same. And particularly, we're most well known the MCL and the ACL. These two ligaments, just what makes a living, make people have a lot of living because of it. So, like this athlete is a professional NBA player, and he does this a million times. Just one time, muscle imbalance, whatever happened, he tore both of his ACL and MCL at the same time. So, at that time, the standard treatment for combining, or just even ACL and MCL, let alone combining, is always going into physical repair, followed with immobilization. That's the only thing, only game on the table. Okay. But we said that is kind of silly. If you injure one ligament, why do you cut the whole knee? I remember again when I was little, if a class, one student is bad, the teacher doesn't know who did it, penalize the whole class. And I hated that. So my goal was to say, let's find out what's going on. But first I have to convince people that immobilization is bad for the joint. Very bad for the joint. So we take dogs, we immobilize the knee, those days you can do it. About a few weeks, 8 weeks or so, you can see you can hang 1 kilogram weight, the joint cannot move. And the reason why they go can open is that there's contractile formation. Oops, that's fast. So there's contractile formation, the joint is stiff, and it's because the crosslinks are formed in the posterior capsule, and when you have a knee joint that cannot move, the cartilage will damage, actually degeneration. And when we do the mechanical testing, which all of us are familiar with, we find that this is the control. We get to about 200, rapidly, it's about 200, 191 milligrams, Newton, and if you immobilize it for 9 weeks, you drop it about a third. The energy failure about everything is with just a short period of immobilization. But the joint is stiff. But the thing about it, the damage from immobilization goes very quickly, several weeks. But the recovery from immobilization is long, months and years. And you never sometimes recover. So I tell my surgical colleagues, look, this is what you do to the joint. You think you did a great job in surgery, but the patient is going to suffer with you if you immobilize. In the 70s, the cast industry, everybody could cast on everything. So the clinical paradigm shifted because of these type of scientific information, tell them what's going on and why it happened. And they have much better appreciation than the ligaments and tendons and its insertion are alive. They're alive. They're not just because not a lot of blood goes through them, they're still alive. The cells are doing something. They are undergo stress and motion. They need to keep homeostasis to remodel themselves. And then identifying that cast immobilization has many long-term deleterious effects. Bad things happen. And as a result, finally convince people to use don't immobilize joints less and less. So the term for simplicity or advertising is the control motion skill. Control motion. Not just motion, but that's control. You need to know what to do, what kind of motions allow at what time. And to the impact of such a statement is to followed by other, Dr. Spetman and Dr. Julia, as friends, Vail, Colorado, their laboratory are now keeping people active, let people move. And then even Mrs. Obama finally said, let's move, gotta move. So that's part of it. An Academy of Speech Surgeons also said by year 2012 that a nation. So just the little things you do in the laboratory, you do consistently, you can make a difference. That's what I encourage you all to do. This was done during the first 10 years of my career. So nothing is too small if you find the right time to do it. So remember, it's not how you do something, it's why you want to do something. And I also developed a strong desire to serve on account of performance encouragement. I served ASME, Society of Cancer, OIS, which know, and American Society of Cancer. I worked with organized symposiums like you are doing next year for rugby, which is all volunteer, you all should do it. And then I review papers, you can get on it. But these are all to give back a debt of gratitude. Now let me elevate to the second level. Second level is I find my own team. I'm now good enough to correct someone. Then find my own team. I don't know why they always want to put me sideways, but that's what happens. Maybe I am more friendly to them than I should. But I also, in that decade, trained 9 fellows, orthopedic fellows, and 16 residents. They are completely not, they don't understand engineering one bit of the first equipment, but when they leave, 2 or 3 years later. And 2 people I'm particularly proud of. One is Young Wu. Young Wu is from Korea. He came to my laboratory for 3 years. And he went back to Korea, and he now is a retired chair professor of National University of Korea. And he retired before I did. And then Cy Frank, some of you should remember because he came to my lab also 3 years. And he went back creating the Craig Center and doing joint research in the University of Calgary. And he also served as the director of Arthritis Institute by NIH and MGA. So he had been big time. Unfortunately, he passed away early, but it's amazing that these people are so successful. And we also done a lot of fundamental research, because I went back to say, if you don't understand the ligament, you cannot treat it. So we did a lot of work looking at anatomy, pathology, collagen enforcement, development, aging, homeostasis, you name it, we did this study. We also look at experimental factors because ligaments are very difficult to test. So there's a lot of data out there. We use the wrong equipment, wrong methodology, we get the wrong answer. So we did all these studies, even including fluid positive linear viscoelasticity. So after we did all this, then we looked at the repair process. We developed models that are realistic. We rupture the ligament. The reason why you just cut the ligament is when you cut the ligament, you don't damage the attachment. Ligament bone is a complex distribution. When you injure the ligament, you not only injure the ligament, you injure the insertion too. So the treatment has to take into account both. Just because the ligament here looks good doesn't mean the attachment side is functioning. And amazingly, in the rabbit and goat models that we use, you can rupture a ligament in 10 days. It's united. So if you would think, oh yeah, I got a ligament that's here. Well, look at the chest. It's all disrupted. So if you send the athletes back in 10 days, the athletes going to recover. So you have to understand the process of healing. We through the inflammatory response, reparative process before we model it to get things strong. And you look at the mechanical test that shows that the stiffness and ultimate load, at 6 weeks is here. 12 weeks is there. 1 year is there. So by 12 weeks, the stiffness is getting very close to normal. Maybe that's why we think 6, 9, 12 weeks is important. But because the attachment side is injured, it never recovers. So even you think everything functions, looks good, the function is here. But if you ever go up there, you will rupture. So that's something we have to do. The repair tissue is never as good as the normal tissue. It's not just the way. So these type of studies have caused a clinical paradigm shift. So basic science says MCL can heal spontaneously. And there's some clinical study confirmed it. So if doctors decide not to surgically repair nobody, treatment or anything. And the paradigm shift is called from surgery to functional treatment. And thanks to rehabilitation, that this functional treatment works. So we know that nobody uses cash, everybody uses brace. And you can design your brace to let something move, something move. You don't penalize the whole joint by cash. And do we have impact? I think so. Somebody recently did a literature review that of all the papers in MCL, 13 of the top 40 most cited MCL papers are from our laboratory. So we feel good. And I like to share with you, it could be done, but it takes time, energy, and good thinking. And also, I feel like a hairy child. In 15 years after I graduated, I became president of the Superior Research Society, American Society of Polytechnic, and ASME chairman. So they all came at the same time. And my children were only 5 or 6 years old. So I don't know how many, thanks to my wife, I was introduced that we team works, fix something. And even I become president of the International Society of Fracture Repair, with something I have not talked about, but I did in Boston and London. And the thing that I'm very proud is, as an engineer, I was organizing a first AOS symposium called Injury and Repair of Musculoskeletal Soft Tissue. This book was a classic, published in 1986, 87. And for a while there, somebody told me in the lab, my student there, I think they do, Amazon sells this book for $400. So I sold out. But I think it's not worth that much now. It was really amazing to get a group of 50 people and really hammer it out. Now let me go to search them. Then the bird wants to leave the nest. I have a feeling that I need to do bigger things. Even though San Diego is the best place to live in the world, those of you who have not gone to San Diego University, I live by their park right now. Weather, everything is perfect. But I abandoned that in my moment of insanity. I went to university. That was when the steel industry went down and everything in Pittsburgh, everybody was not happy, but I went. I picked up the stick and my family, we went. What to do? We wanted to build my musculoskeletal center because I feel like we really need to touch more people, help more, train more. So Musculoskeletal Research Center consists of mechanical biology laboratory, tissue mechanics, joint mechanics, and computation laboratory. And so this is all we can accomplish. And University of Pittsburgh gave me everything I need to do what I do. No question. Basically, biologists, bioengineers, clinicians, surgeons work together in the same seamless manner. Nobody is better than anybody. They all work together. Because each comes to the play with something. The knowledge of your own. the example I can give from MSIC is the development of new robotics. It is out of frustration that we try to create a mechanism to test 8 ligaments. Because whenever you cut some structure, you cannot reproduce the whole position. Then I said, well, robot is good for that purpose. Robot is very good at reproduce position with great fidelity. Great fidelity. So we developed a robotic testing system. Basically, you have a robot, industrial robot. But we put a universal force moment sensor. It's a 6-degree of freedom device. It forces its moment in all degrees. So I call it the smart robot, because the robot is pretty stupid, but they are very serviceable. But with the UFS, you can do force control and position control, all combined hybrid control. Do whatever you want. And what we did was that we used this way. It's a non-contact method. You don't put anything on the ligaments or capsule or whatever you want to study, meniscus. We first let the robot guide the knee to move to a passive flexion extension. And robot remember everything that happened to the impact. Then we can actually cut whatever you want to cut. And in these cases, for illustration purposes, we cut everything. You can see the robot can still reproduce the same motion as though the knee was intact. Okay. Then if you can do that, then if you say, okay, I'm going to apply load to the knee using robotics, going from point A to point B, the robot can repeat it when even you have cut the ACL. Same motion. Then the difference in forces that are reported, this must be the force in the ACL. So that's what happened. Okay? And it's, the amazing thing is that it can be obtained from the same specimen. You want the knee kinematic, you want the forces in the ligament, they are obtained from the same specimen. In this kind of study, the most difficult thing is that the interspecimen variation, yours, mine, his, hers, all different. And you end up with statistical data that you can't. You have to test 3,000 leads before you can study the difference. But if you use the same specimen, you can use so-called the repeated and over. So the statistical power is greatly increased. No interspecimen variation, greatly to increase the power. And we can test 10 leads, we can discern a lot of differences. It's a powerful apparatus. I think I didn't count it, but at least 50 laboratories around the world are using now to study the joint. So what do? We want to approximate. We want to say, okay, you want to do surgery this way. You want to move and graft this way. Whatever you want to do, let's test it. See if it's really working. Because surgeons sleep overnight and I have this patient, I want to do it this way. Then we have to say, well, if you do it this way, you test it. Without me, no, what you're doing, yes, this is great. We can help. So we tested 764 human cadaveric. We studied what graft to choose. Hamstring, tendon, or partial tendon. Where do you put the graft? How much tension should apply to the graft? How does the graft move within the tunnel, tunnel, how does the graft interact with soft tissue? What are the muscle loading at? All these factors we can study and generate quantitative data to help improve research. So this thing is so popular even in our own laboratory. We work 24 hours a day, group sign up, laboratories with people all day 24 hours, 7, 24. And we find out eventually that 8 of our top 10 most cited papers in our laboratory involved the World Bank and the ACL. So it really was very gratifying. Now, that decade is the decade where everybody recognized who I am. When you think about this, is 25 to 30 years. So you all can expect it. I'm no different from you. I came to PolyU, called those days called Hong Kong Technical College. I was here only 3 months. So I feel like I owe PolyU. I went to the United States. Unfortunately, the place vacant. One spot was vacant beside I left. So I always feel indebted to PolyU. I'm very fond of all the university of science from the entire world. And I can get into National Academy of Medicine, National Academy of Engineering, and Seneca, and I won lots and lots of medals. And even like Nikki was telling me earlier, that time said, the Olympic gold medal in I am not no better than any one of you, probably not worse, hopefully, that you can do it. It's doable. If you are willing to put your mind to it, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can. You can always say, Savio, you could do it, I could do it. But we have a philosophy. The philosophy is that we never do anything. We want to translation industry to benefit our colleagues and patients. We do our best work for that. We don't do it because we want to win some award or some prize. That's not our goal. It's like the philosophy is that if I'm in business to do something, if I'm selling one-ton noodles, I don't sell one-ton noodles just to make money. I want to make the best one-ton noodles that everybody wants to buy. And if you've done that, you will make money. Okay. Don't skip that. You got to get the best one-ton noodle soup. That's the most important thing. So, but also, if we do win a prize, we have a lab philosophy. We appreciate it. We celebrate all of it. We celebrate. We'll find some reason to celebrate everything. But use this as a tool to encourage ourselves to do even better. Because we have room for improvement. Everybody has room for improvement. So that philosophy is very important. Because you don't want to call yourself number one. If you call yourself number one, you won't be number one very long. You always got to be hungry for it. And then I would like to advocate giving back. You know, everybody say, oh yeah, I work so hard, I get my PhD. No. It costs a lot more money for the University of Manpower to train you to be a PhD. Or you assistant professor to go to associate professor. You owe the field. That's what I talk about demographics. You cannot say, many people say, I work so hard, everybody owes me. No. You owe. So you gotta give it back. So when people give me a prize, I give it back. So we established the Asian American Institute for Research and Education, my wife and I. We established it in 1998 after the Olympics gave us $40 million. We built these institutes back. And this is our 25th year of it, 2022. And we have awarded about $2.3 million in different purposes. So you can do it. You just have to believe in it, believe in yourself, So now I go to level 4 where I call averages. I think that by then I am a little bit normal enough to advocate something that people can follow. And I first advocate because the ligament tendon are not getting attention. So I start organizing international symposium ligament tendon also. We have 18 conferences around the world. And we also organize the World Association. And I think this is a very important organization. I'm glad that Savio is really, he is really one of the most important questions is called. We have a lot to do to educate all the people of college in China. Hong Kong is the only place to do it because Hong Kong people like Professor Tennyson, both sides, inside and outside. Nobody can do it better than me. And I really want you to get involved. Now, the example I want to give you what we did in ACL robotic starting that decade, and think about we would review the literature. Every decade, however time you want to take, any decade, 10 years, we have about 3,000 papers. Particularly on ACL. 3,000 papers. But 90% of these papers are techniques. Now, if you have a good procedure, why would you want to have so many papers talk about technique? That means you don't have a very good procedure or satisfactory procedure, right? And that is true. Because reconstruction of a single band of tissue cannot reproduce the complex anatomy, property, and function of a normal tissue. So it's still a huge problem. After 45 years, millions of patients. So we decided maybe it's time to think about something else. How about healing the ACL? So with the biology revolution, the scaffolding is available. Why don't we try to see if we can heal the tissue? So we start using what we call extracellular matrix, particularly the SIS. It's a SIS is from the small intestinal submucosa of the pig. It's a very unique property. I don't want to go into it. And we deliver it to a transected ACL. And we find out that we can also make SIS in the gel, inject it to make a faster reaction with cells. And we actually, at 12 weeks, using a very large animal model, goat, that's totally uncontrolled. Or animal model. And we get the ACL healed. And the nice thing is that the healing ACL is all unilateral, unidirectional fibers interspersed with spindle cell shaped fibroblasts. And the most amazing thing is that we could create a synovium. A synovium is really the key because then the synovial fluid can protect it, preserve the healing, and also to maintain the dimension of the healed tissue. Otherwise, with scar tissue, it doesn't work. Even though it's healed, it's all over the place, it doesn't work. So, more on that later. Then, what people, when there's a story that I tell, There's a farmer went into a very important country. He's got a river. It's full of metal. So people say, oh, that's very important. All these rivers. You know, I got this little one here. And everybody's not giving me because I don't know why. Sometimes I feel that. So everybody's giving me money. Which is good. I welcome it. But you don't understand why you get it. This one is interesting. IEEE. I'm not even a member. They gave me a gold medal. So that's one. But people are watching. People are watching. So don't worry about whether people say, oh, you're great today. Maybe someday they'll say you're really great today. And then, of course, my old alma mater, Chico State, California State, gave me a doctorate degree. And I was very happy, of course, thanks to Polytechnic. Being a student that abandoned the university, they gave me an honor. And the amazing thing is that my family are always supportive. When we get that honor doctorate, they came. See, my older sisters here, my second older sisters here, my third older sisters here, and I think my nephew's here somewhere, nephew's wife is here, everything. And today, they are all here too. I was afraid that nobody will come to my lecture, but they are here. So please stand up, give them a bow. I want to be like a student her when I'm writing. And my wife, on 53 and 54, they're 54. My cousin and my niece is a very famous architect. Unfortunately, she's Hong Kong graduate, not a Hollywood. No. And my other niece is in America. She's really well. So, and my nephew, of course. My favorite supporter is the family. We are always, family is so important. You gotta have that love because we also show them. It just was an amazing experience. So thank you very much. So finally, let me talk a little bit about prognostication. But before that, I want to finish my story of ACL healing. So when we get the tissue to heal, because ACL heals so slowly, that meanwhile, during the healing process, because of lack of use, the attachment site becomes. Nobody thought about that. We didn't think about that. But it turns out that by 12 weeks, the ligament is attached, but the insertion site is not. So we said, now we have to not only heal the tissue, we got to load the ligament at the same time where we want the tissue to heal. Okay, so that was our challenge. So we said, okay. Just at that time, I joined a group studying magnesium as a biodegradable matter. Amazing. What a time. So we make a little ring. We cut the ACL. We insert this ring by tying it around so you can see with the sutures that ACL is continually loaded while the healing place is protected by the ring. And when we put scaffold, we inject the gel, and basically we're betting on a tripartite because we have controlled degradation. The brain device degrade with time. Biological factors help the healing take place, and we will have replaced. And you end up at a field without those huge attachments like here. And you can see, actually it looks pretty good. No hypertrophy, no cytotoxicity from the magnesium metal deprivation, ring now completely degraded, and then we actually carry out to 26 weeks and see what happens. Well, the healing continued to improve, tissue mature, ring all degraded. The ultimate load was about 60% higher than those just extracellular nasal treatment at 12 weeks, and it's about 50% better than the So these are really very encouraging results. Most importantly, that you see that this substance where we cut the ACL is the weakest point of the stuff, not the attachment site, like femoral attachment. So we solved the problem essentially, theoretically, experimentally, but I was just getting a little too old, and the project was just too expensive because it costs about $8,000 to do one program. For 12 weeks, 26 weeks of price. And a lot of times the goats don't listen to us. They jump around and they are a little bit stupid animal. So I was about to retire, but we know that success can be obtained with biological and mechanical augmentation. Even the tissue, everybody can use it. Now, I'm giving you this because I want to encourage you to do it, because I'm retiring. You can do it, but that should be. We tested a new hypothesis that biological augmentation can stimulate and accelerate the healing of the place, and mechanical augmentation to restore the joint stability and partially load it to the surface side to prevent deterioration. And with the combine of these, you have synergy. You end up with functional and stronger healing. So we bioengineers can do it. We can. And of course, on top of that, we don't stop there. We have three-dimensional remodels to use it, gold data, to find out what is the criteria, what are the stress emotion levels that make the ACL heal mechanically. Then we can use that data to design devices for healing. So we use that in biology. And we also need to improve the design so that we can actually put it arthroscopically, simplify the surgical procedure, and we can even customize the device for patients. And of course, arthroscopic patients. So the clinical translation is to regenerate or repair and heal rather than and healing and regeneration could be another choice for management of ACL. And I think that's my story that I like to share, that you can do it in what we see as possible because we ask why, we talk about what, discuss it. One more thing is that there are even new engineering techniques that we can go here, multiple muscle systems. You can develop musculoskeletal models, but you can also do these kind of models to simulate dynamic control, because you need to do that. And Dr. Kennedy's group, we work together on that. So we can give you quantitative in jump language what are different muscle forces are. Then you can understand the jump dynamics. And it should go back to prognostication. And I don't know, I'm coming to a point, so you can bear with me. I think there's three types of people, maybe simplistic, to always prognosticate. The first is the meteorologist. Every night we watch weather. They have phone with it. I think they're getting better. It used to be there long half the time, but they're getting Then the other forecast is sports people. Right? Oh, this team is going to win by this point. Stop. Stop. Somebody will always tell you, oh, this stock's going to go up, this stock. And they're wrong half the time, too. It's 50-50. And then there are old professors, like prognostics. So I need to put a disclaimer. Success of the past, my record, does not guarantee the same for the future. So basically say, I'm going to tell you something that it doesn't guarantee it's going to happen. But I prognosticate. Well, our ability to diagnose disease has increased exponentially. We can diagnose everything, especially now with MRI, molecular, MRI, all these things. We see things that we don't even want to see. But the solution, unfortunately, effective treatment, that's behind. We don't have all we can diagnose. Maybe we're lucky to get 5% solution of what we diagnose. So you say, oh, this is so discouraging. Right? This is discouraging. We got more problems than we ever saw. No, sir. It's a great opportunity, right? If we can solve more problems than we can diagnose, then there's not much thing for us to do. There's going to be a lot of things for us to do. Everybody is diagnosing something for us to conquer. Great time to be a biologist. You can look at this opportunity because also solve problems, because there are new technologies being developed. They are going to help us with some basic research that we are able to do. We can see things better too. And then there are now more evidence-based medicine to tell us what the real problem is, what the fact is. So what we should do is that we should all be able to develop new scientifically based treatment strategies because we have tools. We have problems, we have tools. What the engineers do, we always solve the problem. We can have tools and we have problems. Okay? So all of you are in bioengineering just the right time. There's no better time. And you think about now, we can play a key role in molecules, nucleus, cell, tissue, organism. Science is 8 decades of history. Every one of them is involved in that. It's not like when I started 50-some years ago, we only do tissue mechanics or organism. And now we can look at everything. Everything. Very exciting time. I wish I'm 25. A limitless opportunity for us to innovate. But I look at bioengineering just like my favorite bridge in the Golden Gate. Okay, biologists is on one side, clinical medicine. They can't reach them. Just because somebody can understand cell behavior or look the cell grow faster, whatever, they cannot solve problems. Who can solve the problem? Is through the Golden Gate Bridge. Us. We are the bridge. Okay? Literally, that's how I look at it. Maybe not. Maybe right, but I think. So even as late as recently, Richard Chen and I published a book called Frontiers of my 14th book. But that's, I think we still want to think on it. So to summarize what I told you today, is that there are many stages of career development. Remember, you be patient. Development stage, growth stage, maturation stage. You cannot avoid it, basically. And then, of course, you can never get in from that to the later stage. And I review for you the clinical impact of translation. We really make a difference. We really do. And there's an academic history and philosophy behind sharing. It is a long game. To be successful, it is a long game, not something to fly by night. Usually, the fly by night stuff, you will also disappear from it. And I'm very grateful for people recognizing. That's the beauty of being academician. You know, if you do it correctly, you do it long enough, people do it. So I think we are in a very rewarding profession. Okay. 12 years ago, my students and friends want to celebrate my 70th birthday. We have this book celebrating what we call Flow of the River. At University of Pittsburgh, when I finally retired in 2017, they gave me a professor, honorary professor. Two presidents show up at my retirement party. And then, of course, my family was there. My second oldest sister was there. So it's a great thing. Have a great symposium. And then they made me also some lectureship. And they even give us conference when we do it my life's. That's really, you feel very touched as a person. What did I do? Suddenly you recognize that university helps you, your colleagues help you, and society helps you. So to close, let me finish with a little bit of philosophy, just a little bit. I hope you remember. We are the children of Confucius. I am a firm believer of Confucius. Not everything he did I like, but in terms of education, I think it's fine. He first said to know what you know. I don't need to translate. You can read the translation. And this is something that I always feel like. I always tell them, learn know what you don't. That is more important than know what you know. And my words of advice to you is that beware of the inaccuracies of methodology and equipment used to do the study, also how the data and statistical analysis are done. Don't believe just the paper with Savio Wu's name on it is correct. You got to judge it. You got to judge yourself. Is it really true? And today, there's a lot of fake stuff out there. It's not just social media. I can tell you the publications. Okay. Many people don't cite my work. That kind of pisses me off. Because they don't cite anything before 2000. Well, you see a lot of work I did was before 2000. So that is not good. You have to be thorough, not because it's convenient. I think that's very important. Quality work, effective leadership requires think more, ask more. Now, I have taught my students, and I thought I was pretty good. Actually, in my retirement party, it was also the theme they developed the thing on it. But it turns out these philosophies, Confucius already did it. You know, this is Worship. Worship is, of course, I assume you get your PhD, you're studying on it, right? To get a PhD, you have to pass the top in. So then you need to think, and you need to discuss and ask before you do. This guy said it already 26 years ago, and I thought I invented something. So what does it teach you? Philosophy is long. Technology is short. So what would you choose? Longer or short? Why would you choose longer? Right? And the second thing I want to say is that you need to be unique, creative, and disruptive. Disruptive now is called disruptive technology. That's a new term. Think out of the box, not just follow. I personally like to be the blueprint. Where all the refugees go one way, I sometimes like to go the other way. Don't just follow. If you just follow somebody, where are you going to be? You end up following. And always ask why and what before you move on to how. Why is to think more? What is to ask for? How is to say? And who knows? The blue face may end up to be the leader. Right? So do you want to be a follower all your life, or do you want to be a leader? Everybody wants to be a leader. You gotta believe it. And I want to thank my happy and very caring and loving family. We just have a wonderful family, together, thanks to Patty, our children, our grandchildren. And most of all, it takes a village. Global village. I have touched upon 645 students in my and everyone has their contribution to our success. It's not just me. It just happened to everyone. So it takes that many people to get to where we are. I'm always appreciative. All. And I hope you will do your best. Just as good as not good enough. Thank you very much. These are my two most precious persons in the world today. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Wu. Very stimulating talk. So now we know your very successful research experience and career life. We have learned a lot from Dr. Wu. Okay, we have a quick discussion. If you have a quick question.
Thank you very much, Professor Wu, for your inspiring talk. Actually, I come from Ningbo, and my grandmother is born in Shanghai. And would you please tell us some stories about your early life and education in Shanghai and Hong Kong? And would you please tell us more stories about your working with some famous prestigious scholars like Professor Fen Yuanzhen and Qiang Xu? Thank you very much.
You sit right there and it was in my line of sight. I thought, "Oh, that's a pretty smart boy, you know." And now you confirm you're from Newport, of course. Just kidding. Yeah, everybody, all of you need to identify a good mentor. I was lucky. He was so famous in early elasticity and boundary. I don't know why he liked me. I have no clue. But he liked me all his life, since I know. He passed away 100-year-old in 3 months. And it was just amazing. I call him a genius, no question. Gentle John. And I also had a great family. My father, my mother, my father-in-law, they were good inspiration for me. And they're very demanding, but they're very, it's very helpful. So mentorship, a person without mentor, it's not saying you cannot achieve, it's just that much more difficult. A teacher, what does a teacher do? A teacher really just no longer to teach you something. You learn something. The teacher teaches you when you reach the fork in the road, you have the wisdom to choose the road. And there are many, many forks around the way. You always choose the road. And that is what mentorship does. That is really that simple. And I think that there's so many people, your friends, some people look very young. Your students are your mentor sometimes. But I select my mentor very carefully. And I don't have too many that I can say, this person is my mentor. A lot of people call me mentor. I say, no, I'm not your mentor. I'm just your friend. A mentor is much more than just sitting and tell you to do this and that. So just choose somebody matches your personality, understand you, and can help you, and want to help you. And I think that's good. And I have been wanting to. I hope that answers your question. It's a bit difficult, but sometimes maybe we have milk tea together in the future. Any other questions? Okay.
Thanks so much. Yeah, actually, we have a chance to communicate in many different occasions. So once again, thank you so much for all your inspiring. So today I want to ask a question quite big. Okay, so you have seen all the development in bioengineering or biomedical engineering, and sometimes many years ago, we also shared some of your worries. So at this moment, I just want to hear your view about in the field. Something you are happy that you feel very happy that see them, and there's something that you are worrying about, so that hope that we can inspire our new generation to do better in that.
I'm very happy that field has grown so much, and I can tell you that in part is thanks to the Whitaker Foundation. Whitaker Foundation is a foundation developed by Anders Whitaker, who is Ham Corporation's CEO, and David Connectors. And when he died, he willed about $300 million to a very famous professor in Harvard and his friend. And they started out working on bioengineering. But there was a time they said, well, maybe we should do molecular biology. And I was fortunate at that time as a member of the council, the grand review council. And I feel like that this is probably one of the things that I did that I really feel very good. I told them, I said, well, if you stay in biology, you will be a big fish. Everybody will recognize you as a foundation. But if you go into molecular, yeah, Howard Hughes and that, you will never be that. We want to be the little fish in a big pond, and we want to be fish in that. So they choose to stay in biology. And with the foundation, eventually give out $600 million to support biology. They're very, very intelligent. They don't give endowed chair professors. They make the school you create a department of biology. Department, as you know, is very difficult to scuttle a department. But endowed professors, they can't. So they made the right decision. And that's what biology is. Now, while me is at the right time for us to be department, but others are later, there are other fields. What bothers me most today is that a lot of people working in biology because they think it's a very attractive, and especially doing, there's so many PhDs now in biology, and they cannot run one formula. They cannot run it. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that we're all going to be like that. Because still, we're the bridge. Biomechanics is the bridge. So I hope that we don't all fall into that. We need people. Bio, a lot of bio, but we also need people with bio. That's something concerns me, because sometimes the decision makers too, they will make the wrong decision. That's why I'm traveling around to tell young people that we're great, and we are great.
Me,
Thanks a lot, Professor Wu, and your excellent lecture and all your stage, your career giving so much thinkings. Thank you so much. So, I have worked at least 4 years and have 4 years experience, and now I come back to campus for my PhD study. So I have questions. Could you give us maybe this group of people some suggestions, just like I have heard?
Without knowing you, I'm afraid I would give you nothing. But I'll give you something general. PhD students are really the engine of the lab. Without them, we don't, the work sort of cannot be done. The PhD students are the how. Usually. The professors are the why and what. Okay. So you have to kind of accept it. You kind of learn the tool, but gradually you will learn the why and the what. It's very hard to warn why. So you always have to remind yourself, I am learning. Many PhD students, unfortunately, get in and say, well, I'm here in the laboratory 60 hours a week. Everything belongs to me. And I think that couldn't be more wrong. And you will not do yourself a favor. So you be patient, do what you do well. It's the process that you're learning. If you learn the process well, you can apply it to do anything you want in the future, and you will do well. So the best suggestion I can give you is to just learn well, be true to yourself, know what you don't know, and I think you'll And thank you for saying nice things because my family are hearing. That's good. Because they don't think I'm that good, sorry.
Okay, Dr. Wu. Actually, my life is highly affected by you. Okay? You know why I chose biomechanics to be my direction. I first met you in 1994, Amsterdam, second World Congress of Biomechanics. So I saw you, Dr. Y.C. Feng, one more, and Ed Cho, 4 Chinese researchers sit on stage to be the key council members. So in that time, I feel very proud to be a Chinese biomechanics researcher. That's why I chose this topic. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and that now I'm the chair professor in biomechanics and also the council member of the World Council of Biomechanics. That's great. A lot of help to me. Okay? Second, you develop a workbee. It's a very, very good platform, not only for myself, also for other colleagues in Polyu BME like Yongping, Annie, Matthew, Dio, Jason. So we all work for the Congress. A lot of the BME staff work involved to make BME very a little bit successful. So thank you very much on behalf of the department. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Do you have any question?
Thank you, Professor Wu, and it's my privilege to be here and listen to your talk. And my question is kind of broad, and in addition to the publication, based on my limited knowledge, and how to translate the research outcome into the product or the real life clinical solution is also an endpoint for biomedical engineering research. So, can we have your insight on this particular aspect, which is knowledge transfer or technology transfer? Thank you.
I'm very good in knowledge transfer, but I'm a terrible person in industry. That's my weakest point. So I always work with other people. Fortunately, that young PhDs are now very entrepreneurial. So my last 2 PhD students, they were actually quite successful in industry and transferring technology. I'm probably not the right person to ask that particular. The translational work to influence the field in what you do, understand the principles of doing something. I'm pretty good at that. But actually for the industry, it's a little bit difficult for me because I'm not a very good practical person. We have to find someone to answer your question rather than leave for the industry. Because it's a completely different process and philosophy of doing something. Because you have to. For me, in the laboratory, when things are not right, I research. I do it again. I do it until I get it right. Then I publish it. But in industry, they say, well, let's make some products now, make some money so we can get it better. It's just very different philosophy. And I'm not good at that. And then in academia, the same. I always wanted to be a professor, running a center. I'm never a chairman or dean or provost or president, although I have opportunity to do so, because I don't think my philosophy will make me do a good job. So knowing what you don't know is very important. So I've been asked to do all those positions, and I've always turned them down. Because I'm just happy to be a professor. Because I can buy a student what is black and what is white. And once you do administration, everything is great, shades of gray, and it's very hard for me. I'm not capable. So I think this is something that maybe perhaps answer your question indirectly. If you're an aspiration in industry, you need to be a different type of operate with different principles versus. But that's my bias too.
Thank you. Any questions from the Okay, consider the time. We have to stop here. Let's thank Dr. Wu again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a long lecture. I appreciate your attention.
So Dr. Wu is still our honorary professor. Also will be our advisor for Research Institute for Sports Science and Technology. We still have a chance to discuss with him later. Okay, thank you.